What is a watercolor pencil and how is it different from a colored pencil? For the first time in my life, I tried watercolor pencils for you, and here is my review. Hopefully you will find it helpful. We will draw this beautiful lion together. The library of my fully narrated real-time tutorials is here on my Patreon, and if you want more information about my art world, this is my website. Now let's see what is this watercolor pencils are about. First, I want to talk to you about the initial draft. We draw with a black watercolor pencil so that once we add water, it's going to disappear. Isn't that awesome? Because normally with graphite, we have to erase it. And I'm using my Derwent color pencil set of 24 for this tutorial. This is the first time actually I'm drawing with watercolor pencil, so we will see how it goes. And here is the whole color scale. So I highly recommend you, whenever you get a new set of pencils, just try them out like this. And I am going to use most of the colors on the rightmost column. And also you see that there are some areas on the left that I put so much pressure with my pencil that even though I applied water, they didn't go away. You can still see the layer that I applied. But on the second column, you see that I did not put any pressure with my pencil. So when I applied water, they looked exactly like watercolor. So now, by using all the colors on the rightmost column, we're just going to draw our lion. Here are the colors that I used. I have, I believe, 9 of them, and I'm going to put all the colors I used in the description part. Don't forget to check it out. And if you're ready now, let's start. The first thing I did was to create the darkest shadows with my black pencil, and for that I obviously went to the nose and the eyes and all the darkest areas on the face, and of course in the mane. Before the mane, I wanted to finish the face first, so I added all these black shadows as a first layer first. So adding the first layers was fun. I added all the browns. I saw some kind of raw umber color. I also saw some yellow. I saw some terracotta, which is kind of also very close to burnt sienna. And I used my sepia color. I didn't have exactly like sepia tone, so I added some black to my brown to get that dark brown tone that I really, really want. So I am not putting any pressure. My pencils are very sharpened, just like in colored pencils actually. And I'm applying gently all these pencil layers very, very gently, and I'm layering on top of each other. And for the white areas here, I didn't use white, I used blue-gray, and also I used some of the light gray tones because they are not exactly white. I don't want to leave them white. They're not going to look realistic. Now, time to add water, the fun part. So I used my tiny brush for the eyes. So probably I would say like number 1 or 2. You can use it here, but take your time, don't rush, because you know when you rush, especially around black, it's just going to smudge all the black. One thing to keep in mind when we are watering them, watering the colors, is that you have to go from lighter to darker, because I did once from darker to lighter and just like it smudged all the dark colors onto my light colors. In case this happens, have a napkin with you, tissue with you, so that you can actually pick up that color right away. Drawing the mane was really tough, so it took me forever. I tried to do the first layer, but then I ended up doing the second layer too, and a lot of details, like lots of hair going on there. And the first thing I did, of course, locking in the darkest parts with my dark brown, and then I added some yellow and some red, and also you can see that I add some more brown and yellow tones. The thing about it is just the black was necessary, because otherwise the dark parts were not showing. After that, I added my water again. As you can see, I'm going from lighter to darker parts so that I don't smudge my dark tones again. And once I finish the first layer of the watering of my colors, I definitely add more details. Now I can start adding from the face. So adding details mean you have very sharp pencil and you are adding all these browns, all these yellows, all these blacks, one by one. You're adding hair, guys, and so it takes forever, yes. But in total, this tutorial took me 4 hours, and maybe the details part was the longest one, which took me 2.5 hours or so. So adding the details is important because don't forget that the white is not that strong. So keep the first layer at the very bottom layer white parts so that you can go dark on top of that. Black was a game changer. Why, you ask? Because it created so much depth in my drawing, I think. And as I said, my brown was not that dark, so adding the black fur details there was amazing. I think it gave so much depth to my drawing. And the hair directions are important. On the nose we had short hair, and on the top of the hair we had much longer hair. How to erase these watercolor pencils? I think the electrical eraser is the best option you have. It erased wonderfully when it was slightly wet. Don't erase it when it's really dry or really wet, otherwise you're going to actually ruin your paper. You don't want that. Adding the white color was also very helpful. I added some highlights, although it's not like really powerful like soft pastel white color. It is still something. It really still works. So I'm adding all these highlights and the white fur with my white pencil. X-Acto knife didn't work. Honestly, I think watercolor pencils are a little bit like wax-based color pencils. They feel like it, they break easily. And I thought maybe I can use X-Acto knife just like I do in the colored pencils and it will work to give fine hair details. Unfortunately, it didn't work for me. Now I'm going to the second layer, as you can see, so that I can add more details on the mane and much later, but I wanted a little bit more darker base, so that's what I'm trying to do now. Don't forget that, you know, different than from colored pencils, they're a little bit thicker and it is very hard to get thin pinpoints. So the second layer of the mane was also a little bit difficult because now I have a very dark base and I was trying to put some lighter tones on it, which was almost impossible. So what I did is just like creating more contrast by adding more black. And if you look at the mane, it's divided into kind of two. There's one a little bit towards back, it's more terracotta, more reddish tones, and in the front part it is more like yellowish tones. So that's what I'm trying to give. For the background, I used black, but the black was, you know, interesting. I will tell you what. I think they did it by mixing blue and brown because it was really blue based. It was ivory black. So I applied my black pencil and then I went over with my water. And of course, I did 2 or 3 layers till I get the darkness that I want. But don't forget, you have to wait first till it dries to apply your second or third layers. While my background is drying, I'm adding more details with my black on the mane because mane took forever, as I said, and you have to follow all these, you know, sections of the hair. You cannot do hair by hair, it's impossible, but I'm trying to do lumps of hair if I can do, trying to follow the same directions as I go, but it is, again, as I said, important to use black here so that you can identify those sections of the hair that have the same direction, same length. So I am doing the second layer of the background because it's dry now, and when I add the pencil it looked already really black. It's getting much more black as the way I want it, and then I apply water again And my third and final layer later will be another pencil layer without adding water. I'm just trying to have that velvety look that I get from the charcoal pencils usually, and I think eventually I will. So in order to straighten out, I highly recommend this brush movement from bottom to top. More black, please. Yes, because really black was a game changer, as I said, and the more black I added to the details and to the mane, I got so much better look, so much better contrast. So that's why I was trying to add more black into browns or some of the reds, and it worked. How to paint the beard part? So the jaw part, the beard part was tricky because it was white. So I added mostly the direction of the hair with the gray color, blue-gray color, but I added some browns as well, like a raw umber color. And then I used the watercolor underneath the dark part that was very kind of a big shadow there. So I just used that shadow like by using my small brush. I just picked those black into the beard part so that it looked like it was dark underneath. And another important thing, of course, was using my eraser. I erased a little bit and I added more natural look because, as I said, it is very difficult to get fine point with watercolor pencils for me, especially for Derwent. I don't know whether brands would be different or not. Adding all those details, all the furs, all the shadows and highlights, it's going well. I think as final step, I'm adding much more black. I'm doing the black even blacker, like the around the eyes and inside the pupils and, you know, those areas especially, and the shadows. Like if I feel like a place is not as dark enough, I add just a little bit more black. But be very careful with black because it's hard to erase them. So the whiskers. Whiskers was going to be challenging, I knew that, so I had my gel pen with me. So I tried with watercolor pencil first, it was not bad at all, and I tried it with my gel pen, it was almost exactly the same result, so, and with probably less hustle. So I tried to continue with my watercolor white pencil. It was not bad at all, but it was a little bit transparent on the brown color, on the lighter tones, so it wasn't the best, but I think it worked. And of course there were some like black whiskers too, so I added those. And I think in the end, the whiskers were all ready. Don't forget to finish the first layers before the whiskers. And I do this all the time, but with watercolor pencils, I think it was much better. I lightly burnished with single pencil, everything, except the background part. I had my Brown Ochre 57, I think, and lightly I just brought everything together with the same pencil. I think it looked much better, much lively in the end, but it's all up to you, of course. Now we can take off the tape and see how it went. I think it's not bad at all. I think for the first trial especially, I really liked it. I hope you liked it too. If you like my videos and if you want to watch more, click on the next and also click on the subscribe button so you can see more from me. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Thanks for watching my video. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe. And for my real-time narrated tutorials, visit my Patreon, patreon.com/Ece Gurler. Stay with art and love.